Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's Daily Dispatch. This time, Michelle Kinney, my co-host, and I'm Julie Roginsky are here to talk
Daily Dispatch.
Oh, no.
This time, Michelle Kinney, my co-host, and I'm Julie Roginsky.
Oh no, what's happening? Hold on.
I don't know.
That was my fault.
Okay.
The YouTube was on in the background. We're good. Hello. Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Michelle. We're here to talk about the Epstein Birthday Book, which, Michelle, I'm just going to say this, and we can proceed as you wish after that.
Mhm.
I don't want to spend, and let me take my glasses off so I could be really serious about this. I don't want to spend 1 minute debating whether this is Donald Trump's
Yep.
signature or not. I mean,
Yep.
the fact that you have CNN and the New York Times and all of these outlets debating whether the earth is flat or the earth is round.
Exactly. I think I tweeted that actually.
Is why did you? Okay. Well, is why we're in this mess. We are in this mess because somebody says the earth is round and Donald Trump says the earth is flat. And then they all scramble to come up with 27 scientific reasons about the curvature of the earth and why it's round. No, there are certain things in life, like a geometric problem, that are givens.
Yep.
Given. This is Donald Trump's signature. Now let's move on and talk about this.
Yeah. Sam Stein, who is over at the Bulwark, he tweeted something similar. He said, he's like, come on, can we stop having this like this is an argument of whether it is, whether it isn't. And it's funny you say that, Julie, because I thought of you and how you talk about the earth is flat, the earth is round. And I tweeted that. I was like, this is the earth is flat, the earth is round argument. It's not an argument. One is a fact and one is not a fact. And listen, we knew this existed. We know he's in the files. We know that he was longtime friends with Jeffrey Epstein. None of this is surprising, but I will say, just looking at the actual contents of this book, page by page, it is so disgusting. It is so horrifying, in ways that it's hard to describe how many people knew about this. How many people knew about this? How many people looked the other way? How many people participated in it? Including, that there's now proof of transactions that went between Jeffrey Epstein and JPMorgan. I mean, everybody was doing business with this guy.
But there's a picture, not of Trump, and we could discuss in a minute why I think Trump's picture is so troubling. But there is a picture, and I don't know if you have it, Michelle, of little girls, Jeffrey Epstein giving lollipops to little girls. Do you have that picture?
I'm about to send it to myself on my computer so I can throw it up right now.
I want to describe what this picture is, and then Michelle can pull it up for themselves, the horror. But there is a picture of Jeffrey Epstein giving little lollipops to little girls. And then a decade later, those same girls naked, literally naked, massaging Jeffrey Epstein. Basically to say the child predator enticing these little girls with lollipops, only for them to then stand naked and give him lollipops. Give him lollipops as a euphemism.
More than that,
massages. The point is that this was so well known that people are truly putting this in a birthday book.
Yeah.
Now, Donald, I don't know whose picture that is. I don't know if they ever concluded whose picture that is, Michelle.
As far as I know, there was several people in this book that contributed that did not write their names. I think it was probably insinuated who the person was based on the content or whatever else. But this particular thing did not have a signature on it. Should I throw this up now?
Yeah, why don't you throw it up?
Okay. Yep. Let me, sorry, my cat is like, I don't know if you can hear.
So I want to look at this. 1983, little girls, prepubescent girls, 2003, what a great country. Now, the funny thing about this is that they're pretending that it's 20 years later, that these girls are now adults. Notice how they put it 20 years later, that these girls are obviously now consenting adults doing this and not prepubescent girls. a heart-shaped tattoo with JE on the butt, the right buttock of one of these girls. And as you can see what that girl is doing on her knees in front of him. Now, a couple of things. One is those girls were not 20 years old or older when they were doing this. And second, the whole point here is that he was grooming them to do this.
Yep.
And I don't know what 908JE is.
Well, that is, well, I mean, it's the code. It's the code on the back of the plane. That was the tail number.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what I think is fascinating here is that you have people who just put this in a book like it's nothing. Like, haha, look at him grooming these little girls who are then on their knees, either massaging him or clearly giving him a blowjob, right? That's what this is supposed to be with his a heart-shaped tattoo that apparently he made them get on their butt, on her butt. Donald Trump was, by Jeffrey Epstein's account, his closest friend during this period. By Donald Trump's account, they were friends. I mean, he's changed his account now, but back then they were good friends. And I know that because you see them at parties everywhere all the time. And Jeffrey Epstein was hanging out with Trump and Trump's family and Trump's kids and Melania and so on and so forth. And so, look, this was obviously an open secret.
Yeah.
Do it. They were brazen enough to put it in a birthday book.
Yep.
And we're now supposed to believe that Donald Trump was not aware of any of this?
There is a tweet that, let me throw this up as well. Julie K. Brown, she's, she's the best. If there's one journalist who knows the most, it's probably Julie K. Brown. Vicky Ward would be the other. Yeah. But Julie K. Brown writes here, there's a whole section of the Epstein's birthday book labeled children, with photographs of a very young girl posing and what appears to be letters in a child's handwriting.
So again, it's not a one-off. It's not a two-off. Everybody knew. Everybody knew. And I want to spare a thought here for Bill Clinton, who also hung out with Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Who is not a dumb man. Now, I have not been around Donald Trump as much as I've been around Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is a very smart man. He knew, I am positive, what this was all about. I don't know whether he participated, but he knew. All of these people knew. It was an open secret. And again, if you notice, for all those people that want to pretend that they were just giving massages to Jeffrey Epstein, they're topless. Now, I've gotten massages in my life. Michelle, you have too. In fact, Michelle, you sent me to an incredible place.
The best.
Last week, which was the best massage I think I've ever had.
Yeah.
Nobody that I've ever gotten a massage from has been topless. Ever.
No.
Ever. And nobody in that scenario would be on their knees giving a blowjob while they were being massaged by two other topless women. Or girls, as they were, which is what.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the other part about this, and it's like, I think just in the English language, especially in the United States, we tend to say "girl" a lot when it's a woman, and we say "girls" a lot, in describing this, because I think it's just so common to say "girls," but these were actually girls, like girls, children. They were children,
14, 15-year-old girls. Some of them apparently as young as 12.
Yep.
I mean, I have a 13-year-old and I know his friends who are girls. And some of them are developed and some of them are not developed, but mentally they are all children. They are all children. They are dopes in the nicest sense of the word.
Like in the ignorance, in this, the most genuine version of that word. Yeah.
They don't know anything. They don't know anything. I mean, listen, I don't want to get into it. They know nothing.
Right. I mean, and nor should they. Because they're children. And they're counting on us, the adults, to protect them.
And what is so gross, and bear this in mind, because I've truly believed that Donald Trump will pardon Ghislaine Maxwell if things continue the way they are after the midterms. Maybe not before, but after the midterms. I think this is a step down, this thing.
Yeah.
But he is going to pardon a woman who is the procurer in the truest sense of the word. She was the woman. We've talked about this before, Michelle. She was the woman that these girls trusted. She was the adult. She was the glamorous, sophisticated British woman with a posh accent.
Promising them the world.
Promising the world with a little dog that she would carry around to entice them, to make them feel safe. Because if Jeffrey Epstein as a single man showed up and started talking to these girls, they would have been on their guard.
Totally creeped out. Right.
But he's there with her. They look like a couple. They have a cute little dog. And she is the person who they trusted. And she is the spider who spun this web to get them in his web. And what I have to say about all this is that for all the Republicans out there who are defending this and are saying that's not Donald Trump's signature and you can't prove it and maybe it's not so bad, what kind of human beings are you? What kind of human beings are you? Because if this were any Democrat, any single Democrat, I would say the same thing about them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, people are like, well, what about Bill Clinton? I'm like, drag his ass. Like, seriously.
Why are Republicans protecting Bill Clinton by refusing to release the Epstein files?
Oh, that's actually, yeah, that's good.
Right? Like, why are you
protecting
Clinton by refusing to release Epstein files?
Well, and here's the roll call vote today. I think this was today. Might have been yesterday, but I think it's today. This is them all voting no. They're all blocking the release of the Epstein files, the very thing that the Republicans ran on, that's at the heart of QAnon and everything else. And they're voting to block it.
Hearing no further comments, the question is on the amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed say no. In the opinion of the chair, the noes have it. Mr. McGovern requests a roll call. The clerk will call the roll.
Mrs. Fishbach. No. Mrs. Fishbach, no. Mr. Norman. No. Mr. Norman, no. Mr. Roy. No. Mr. Roy, no. Mrs. Houchin. Mr. Langworthy. No. Mr. Langworthy, no. Mr. Scott. No. Mr. Scott, no. Mr. Griffith. No. Mr. Griffith, no. Mr. Jack. No. Mr. Jack, no. Mr. McGovern.
Aye.
Mr. McGovern, aye. Ms. Scanlon. Ms. Scanlon, aye. Mr. Neguse. Mr. Neguse, aye. Ms. Ledger-Fernandez. Ms. Ledger-Fernandez, aye. Madam Chair.
No.
Madam Chair, no.
The clerk will report the total.
4 yeas, 8 nays.
The noes have it. The amendment is not agreed to. Are there further amendments or discussion?
And there it is. I thought it was important to actually see them do it. Say nay and aye.
I want you all to bear this in mind. There are Republicans out there who are so-called moderates who will be asking you for your votes in places like New York.
Yep. Mike Lawler.
Elise
Stefanik. All these people.
Tom Kaine in New Jersey. Chris Smith of New Jersey. And I want to speak specifically about Chris Smith. Chris Smith, for the 40 years that he's been in Congress, has been the chair of, I believe the chair, but he's certainly been the leader of the pro-life movement. He has devoted his life to protecting, and I quote, unborn children. Innocent unborn children. Well, let me ask Congressman Smith this. What do these 13 or 14-year-old girls do to make them not be innocent enough to merit your protection, Congressman? Because it's all okay to protect the unborn, but it's certainly not a priority to protect born children. And we've known this. We've known this when they stopped giving health care to kids. We know this when they deprived kids of SNAP benefits. We know this when they cut school funding. We know all this. But now this is coming down to pedophilia.
Yep. Like the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst.
You speak to anybody that has been molested as a child, and they will tell you that it has changed the trajectory of their lives.
Everything about them.
Child sex abuse is just like everything. Like they go from being happy-go-lucky children to being hollow-eyed. And now you're talking about girls being trafficked by adults.
Yep.
And being put in a situation where they are being sold to the highest bidder as favor. And I don't know if they're sold for money. God knows what JPMorgan was paying for. But they're certainly being trafficked for money or for free.
Yep.
To powerful adults who just want to sleep with virgins or girls who look like girls and not
Little girls. And this was in the Sydney, one of the Sydney news outlets. Epstein Birthday Book reveals alleged joke about selling woman to Trump. A new page allegedly from the same birthday book also released by the Democrats. And this was the Democrat Oversight Committee that did this work. So kudos to them. This was great. This was good. Shows Epstein posing with a large check signed by DJ Trump. A handwritten caption below the photo says, "Jeffrey showing early talents with money plus women. Sells fully depreciated," something, the next thing redacted, "to Donald Trump for $22,500.
So the only thing that could be redacted is the name of the girl.
Mm-hmm.
And why is she depreciated? Well, she's depreciated for two reasons. One is she's not a virgin anymore, probably thanks to being abused. And two is she probably aged out. Like a car that when you put mileage on it, depreciates. The girl, once you put mileage on her with both age and sex, she has depreciated.
Mm-hmm. There was they had mentioned something when the story first broke, whenever this was it like 2 months ago, about the book's existence in the first place. When that first broke, there was something in that flurry of stories about the aging out of girls. And apparently, like when they were 18, they were sent on their way because they were deemed too old at that point. And here is the here's the page. That's the check. It says DJ Trump down in this under the signature. You see the $22,500. That is Jeffrey Epstein standing all the way to the right. Jeffrey showing early talents with money plus women, sells fully depreciated, redacted, to Donald Trump. Showed early people skills too. People skills in quotes.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if I sound furious and I sound pissed off, it is because I speak as a mother.
Mm-hmm.
I speak as a mother of somebody who is this age, and he's a boy, and he's a dope when it comes to sex and when it comes to, I mean, he understands the version of bees. He knows how it works.
Right.
Certainly would. I mean, and he's a boy. And if you're a girl and you have another woman coming up to you and enticing you with puppies and promises of stardom and saying you're so pretty. And I know Lex Wexner, who runs Victoria's Secret, and we know people who run modeling agencies. And you can
I mean, one of the survivors dropped Ford Modeling Agency during the press conference a number of days ago. I mean, when she said Ford Modeling, I mean, we both know some Ford model. Like that is a major, major modeling agency. And for them to have allegedly, taken part in this in any way.
And I will say this about the Ford Modeling Agency, and I don't know enough about it, but I do know this. I had a very, very close friend in high school whose mother was a model for Ford, who'd been signed to Ford. And her mother came from Scandinavia.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was 16 or 17. And Eileen Ford, who at the time was the head of the Ford Modeling Agency, who's since passed away, but back in the 60s was like at the height, Ford was the biggest modeling agency, specifically had the girls that she brought over from all over the country live with her because she wanted to protect them. And I only heard wonderful things about Eileen Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Contrast that with John Casablancas, for whom Trump judged the elite look of the year competitions over and over again, where you have story after story. I've written about this on Substack of young girls saying we were made to dance for Mr. Trump, we were made to do all sorts of things that we didn't
And
want to do.
why is a grown-ass man, like this is the thing in hindsight, why is a grown-ass man holding a look of the year pageant contest
Right.
in which he is always a judge and he is vocal about the objectification and the bodies, I mean, of his own daughter?
Well, listen, there's so many stories about him going up to girls who were singing Christmas carols at the plaza when he owned it, and they were 14 years old. And he said, how old are you girls? And they said, we're 14. And he said, oh, I'll I'm going to marry you in a year or two. Or a couple.
I'll be dating her in 10 years.
Yeah, said this to, no, that was the 10-year-old girl.
Oh, sorry, 10. Oh, Jesus.
Trump, who was going up the escalator at Trump Plaza, a 10-year-old girl. Perhaps I'll be dating you in a few years. But contrast that with Casablancas and Jean-Luc Brunel and these other people at Elite who were just disgusting. John Casablancas, who started living with Stephanie Seymour when she was 16 and he was 41, I believe.
What?
The point is, I don't want to sound like a crazy QAnon person, but they do have a point about
there was truth at the heart of all of this.
You have a point that there is some sort of creepy pedophilia thing going on that is kind of under everybody's nose.
Yeah, it's like right here. It's
right here.
That's how I feel looking at all this stuff. I'm like, it's like it was in plain sight, but no one would ever think.
Well,
this, you know what I mean? Like a person who with morals and a moral compass. It would be hard to think that these many people are awful, but they are. They are. Yeah.
And so I don't. I'm just so grossed out. I'm so just despondent over these members of Congress for whom their careers and fear of Trump is more important than pedophilia. Like, if you're not going to stand up for this, I just don't know what you're going to, I just don't know.
Yeah. And it goes to show that, they continuously move the goalpost to whatever is convenient for them. Right. This is a goalpost that I honestly didn't see coming. Maybe I did. Maybe it's, when it comes to Trump, like anything's possible. Right. But this is too far. This is, how do you protect a pedophile? How do you protect a bunch of predators against little girls?
And does it matter if they're your donors? And does it matter if it's the president? It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. And listen, I'm not naive. I have worked in politics my whole life. I know the compromises you have to make to get elected. I get it.
There's a line.
There's a line. And by the way, if you don't know what that line is, get it. Like, is there really nothing you can do with your life besides being in office? I don't get it.
Right. In a seat that does not belong to you. And that's the other part too, is that a lot of these people, yes, they're afraid to relinquish their power for any reason, but they also have this, this belongs to me. This is my Senate seat. This is my House seat. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the American people who vote you in to do the right thing, hopefully.
I'm going to say this right now. And maybe I'll never work in politics again, but I will tell you this. It's just a fucking House seat, for fuck's sake. It's a House seat. You're a member of Congress. So the fuck what? I'm sorry, Dad. I feel I have to curse because this merits it, and I know you agree. So what? Is there really nothing else you could do with your life? Is this really why you got into this? To protect pedophiles? Is this why you got into this?
Right.
I mean, how disgusting do you have to be? Seriously, like, what are you doing this for?
Yeah.
Why? Because this is okay. I know the rationale. I know the self-justification. I know exactly what they're thinking. This is what they're thinking. I am put on this earth to save America, and I have to make, this is a compromise I have to make to stay in my seat so that I can save America from whatever they think is happening to America, then I will take the hit, but I'm here to save America. Bullshit. Bullshit. Because the argument you should make to your voters when Donald Trump eventually comes after you with Elon Musk and whoever else you're worried about coming after you, and your donors who were apparently emboldening this pedophile or participating in it are going to abandon you, you make the argument to the American people and to your district that I am having them come after me because I voted to stop protecting a pedophile.
Yeah, it's that simple.
It's that simple. And if you lose, guess what? Go get a job at Starbucks. You'll have
Seriously, get a job like the rest of us. Because,
honestly,
you know,
you're slinging lattes at Starbucks. You will have more self-respect and more honor than you will right now as a member of Congress with your stupid fucking congressional pin and your stupid fucking members only elevator that you're only having because you are protecting a pedophile. It's as simple as that. And I don't like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I don't like Lauren Boebert, and I don't like Nancy Mace, but they get the assignment.
Yeah. I mean, that's again, for whatever reason, I don't care. But the fact that it's of the Republicans, it's Tom Massey, who is still standing his ground. He's on TV every day being like, what the hell? Asking, begging for transparency.
He knows he's going to lose. He
Yeah.
knows.
Oh, yeah. He knows. And at this point, he's like, I'm going to go all in. And listen, I can't think of anything else that I agree with these people on. Literally anything except for this.
Yeah.
And I hope that when, and I hope it's a when, not an if, Donald Trump's name is revealed, because we know it's in there, that they continue to stand their ground. I hope that that's not, well, you know, he's the president. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. I don't care who you are. Donald Trump is a disgusting human being. He is a predator. He's a bad person. He is a very, very, very bad person with no remorse for any pain or any suffering that he causes anybody, because at the end of the day, it is all about him. And it will always continue to be. And he'll throw down anybody in his way. And it's not even a conscious decision that he does it. It is instinct.
And I got to tell you, you know, I know some of these guys personally. Like,
Yeah.
I know Mike Lawler. I have known Mike Lawler for 20 years. I knew him well before he ran for Congress.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Lawler is sponsoring our legislation in the House to get rid of forced arbitration for age discrimination. Like, Mike Lawler has been a friend. Mike Lawler has been an ally. When my kid and his class came down to Washington, Mike Lawler spoke to them. Like, I know Tom Kean. I've known Tom Kean for probably 30 years. He's a good man personally. I don't know his policies, but he's a good guy personally. And I am so, this is such a deal breaker for me with them.
Yeah, it should be.
So disgusted with this whole situation. I don't understand. Like, these, I know them, and I know them to be people who, they don't like Trump. They don't like bending the knee. But even on this issue, they will not break.
I want to show
and you're, by the way, Casual Observer says good guys have started wars. 1,000%.
Oh yeah, good guys.
I also knew Hillary Clinton. She voted to authorize, going into Iraq. Excuse me. Like, yes, but I'm telling you right now, what is so upsetting to me is that these are people who you personally know. When you personally know them, you know what kind of people they are, and to see them behaving this way is even more disgusting as a result.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I just want to show, there is the infamous drawing, right? So we had heard about the drawing. There was like a back and forth thing that Donald Trump had put in there, and he had drawn like the outline of a woman's body and signed his Donald Trump signature where the pubic hair area would be. It is very obvious what it is. It is very obvious what the intent was. It is very obvious that that is his signature. And this is it. This is it. Let me take this banner down.
I want to say something about this picture.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump actually is a pretty gifted sketcher. like, I'm not trying to be funny about this. Like, if you saw him sketching and doodling doodles that he sold of buildings and other stuff, like, I couldn't do that. Look at those breasts. He knows better. Those are not the breasts of a grown woman.
Mm-hmm.
If he were drawing breasts for grown women, they would not be that high up.
Mm-hmm. You know, I thought that, Julie, and I was like, it's one of those things you just don't even say out loud. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, I'm a terrible artist, and even I would know if I were going to draw those breasts, they would not be where they are for the breasts of a woman.
Mm-hmm. When he was, whenever this was, 2 months ago, he was in Scotland. He was asked about this more than once. Here is, I think he's getting on Marine One at the White House being asked about it. All right, hold on.
Went to the island.
You maintain you did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday book?
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot.
Yeah, no one did that. And then he's asked again when he gets to Scotland. Oops.
Yeah.
I think I heard you say something the other day, the drawing that was the subject of the Wall Street Journal report.
I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings. Sometimes people say, would you draw a building? And I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, you know, for a charity stuff. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women. That I can tell you.
I'm
they say
sure.
there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women.
Donald Trump was probably that guy that sat behind you in 7th grade drawing pictures of girls with boobies and like being disgusting. Like, I mean, you just know that about the guy.
Well,
and for him,
he was right, Michelle. He did not draw a picture of a woman. He drew a picture of a prepubescent girl whose breasts haven't grown yet. That is the picture of a 12-year-old girl who has not yet gone through puberty. That's as simple as that. Especially from Donald Trump, whose Mar-a-Lago makeover, and I'm sorry, I never talk about people's appearance. I hate doing it, and I hate talking about people's plastic surgery because to each their own. But what Donald Trump likes, which is why all of these women around him have done it, boobs. That's why Melania has breast implants. If you look at what her picture.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very obviously.
Ivanka has breast implants that truly are hilarious because, like, give me a break. All of them have breast implants because Donald Trump likes it that way. That is his ideal woman. So Donald Trump would not be drawing a picture of a woman with small breasts because that's not his ideal of a woman. His ideal of a woman is a woman with big breasts. That is a picture of a girl.
I want to play this. Congressman Garcia is the head of, or he's the leading Democrat on Oversight. He's been all over, obviously, on TV. He breaks down a little bit here.
The president is saying that somehow this note was planted many years ago and the signature matches it exactly. And we know, of course, that Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, according to Epstein, were best friends for over a decade. Give me a break. Here are the facts. Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein were incredibly close. There's numerous accounts, photos, videos of them together. They have exchanged, of course, their time when they were in Florida and in New York, they've exchanged numerous support of each other. And we also know that during the campaign, Donald Trump made it clear that he would release the Epstein files. Then he gets into office, and now he's refusing to do so. What's happening right now is a White House cover-up. That note belongs to Donald Trump. It is, as we know, quite lewd. It is disturbing. It talks about a special secret that they both share. And it is important right now that the country get the answers that they deserve, and the full files need to be released.
And I'm going to play this with Jasmine Crockett as well this morning, I believe, or maybe it was last night because that looks like Caitlin Collins. Again, saying plainly, and this is why we love Jasmine Crockett. Well, we like her. We love her for lots of reasons, but the way that she speaks truth in plain language, I think is.
We have a president that is sitting in office that obviously had a very close relationship with arguably one of the worst pedophiles that we've ever seen in this country. And he's gone from, I don't really know him like that. No, we're not really that close. Yes, he was an FBI informant, to now he said there never was this birthday book, there never was this letter. And I think it goes to his credibility or lack thereof when it comes down to this particular investigation. It also goes to when we hear the White House say things like, hey, this will be seen as a hostile act if you sign off on this. Listen, as American people, we should all be in unison, no matter if you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, when it comes down to cracking down on something like this. And this literally is so big. I, as someone who practiced criminal law in Texas, in Arkansas, and in federal courts, I have never seen a case this big. And I did it for literally over 15 years.
I mean,
listen, I mean, what's interesting about this, Michelle, there's actually nothing interesting about this, because what is so obvious and it's staring us in the face, everybody keeps talking about this is a cover-up, this is a cover-up. It's not a cover-up. It's not a cover-up. I keep saying this. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck and it swims like a duck, it's probably a duck. And he's in the files because he doesn't give a shit about anybody but himself. It is his signature. We don't have to even belabor that. He was close friends with Jeffrey Epstein because he said so for years.
And Jeffrey Epstein said it so as well. Michael Wolff interviewed for hours and hours. Michael Wolff interviewed Jeffrey Epstein, and he said that they were like best friends. They were the closest of friends. Think about your best friend, the conversations that you have with your friends, like, and what that means, what that feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially when because apparently this was all over the place. It's not like Jeffrey Epstein was doing this the way a lot of pedophiles do this, quietly, secretly, in the dead of night.
Yeah.
He had an island where he would fly these girls on planes with other rich people too. And he would give them massages and they would all hang around and apparently walk around naked. And it was just out there. Same thing in New York at his penthouse, townhouse, excuse me.
Which used to be a consulate.
Yeah.
It was so big. It used to be a consulate.
So same at the townhouse and same in Palm Beach. And so it wasn't like a secret. It's not something that people weren't aware of. Apparently everybody knew. You know how we know that? Because they're all making reference to it in the stupid birthday book.
Yeah. And the hubris, like, it's the untouchable feeling. Like, we are so rich, we are so powerful, we are surrounded by so many powerful people. We can just joke about this. And I'm sure it wasn't even a conscious decision to be like, oh yeah, I can write this. I think it's just instinct that you can just write these things and be like, oh, well, I wouldn't even think twice about it because what's going to happen to us?
Yeah.
We're not going to go, what are we going to do? Go to jail? You know what I mean? I think that that's legitimately how these people think and how they live their lives. Untouchable. And sorry, go ahead.
Well, you nailed it, which is that they all did this because they believed that they were untouchable. And guess what? They were. And Donald Trump is going to ensure that they continue to be. Donald Trump has every reason in the world to ensure that they continue to be untouchable because he's one of the people that wants to be untouchable. The real problem here is, where are the Republicans? Where are the senators? Where are the members of Congress?
Yeah.
The ones who are not in these files, the ones who know better. Where are they? And what in the world is going on?
Yeah. And the White House was asked about this, right? So obviously they're like, no. So this is Caroline Leavitt was asked by the White House press poll. There's two clips here.
The president did not write this letter. He did not sign this letter. And that's why the president's external legal team is aggressively pursuing litigation against the Wall Street Journal, and they will continue to.
President,
okay,
care about these victims. Do you think he can does he want to deliver more justice for them, and is he willing to meet with them?
The president cares about victims of all crimes, and that's why Republicans in the Trump Department of Justice have done more in terms of transparency when it comes to the Epstein case than any prior administration. And why are the Democrats all of a sudden caring about this? It's because they are desperately trying to concoct a hoax to smear the president of the United States. We have seen this time and time.
And to which I will play one more thing. He was asked in the Oval Office. This was during the press conference that the survivors were having on the Capitol steps. He was asked about this.
What is your message to Putin? President, right now, there have been survivors of Jeffrey Epstein speaking at a press conference on Capitol Hill. They're calling for these case files, these documents to be released. And Thomas Massey, who was sponsoring a discharge position to get the House to vote on releasing those documents, says he doesn't believe you're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be, and he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them and slow-walking the release. Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir?
So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything.
I don't even know what Kennedy situation he's talking about.
I don't even know what he's talking about either, but it's just hoax, you know, and it's predictably always just what he says. And the thing that gets me, and we've talked about Bill Barr and how his father was the headmaster at Dalton, where Jeffrey Epstein randomly just got some job teaching math where he had no credentials to do so. Early on in that first term, I remember, I have a very, very vivid memory of seeing Ivanka Trump and Bill Barr do some like panel about human trafficking. And that was a big thing that they all talked about, human trafficking. And it was like all about these poor children, and the children are being trafficked. And this was not even, I mean, Epstein really wasn't even in the rearview mirror at all at that point. I mean, it was in Miami, right? Maybe it was with Vicky Ward, people who had been, you know, trying to report on it. But at that point, it was just about like the QAnon conspiracy about like a cabal of pedophilia in politics. And here we are.
All right, listen, there's so much more we could discuss about this, but we try to keep these short. Just in and out.
Do you mind if I would really like to play this one thing on the way out? Just back to Michael Wolff for a second. If you don't follow him, he is a Trump biographer. Seems to have sources in places that no one else does. He talks about that FBI informant thing that Mike Johnson's trying to make happen. And how with Trump, there's always a morsel of truth to that. And he breaks it down. And I was like, oh, this is why.
The House Mike Johnson has offered a wacky new defense of Trump's long relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Trump was an FBI informer helping to bring Epstein down. This is obviously ridiculous and a desperation move on the part of the White House, if not Trump himself. But the thing about Trump's whoppers is that they often contain a grain of truth and are also, at least in this instance, a window into the roots of conspiracy thinking. But in this case, I can actually tell you the real story. In 2004, Epstein bid on a piece of property in Palm Beach. He bid $36 million. He brought his friend Trump with him to look at the house and advise him on moving the swimming pool. Trump went around his back and bid $41 million actually for the house. Epstein knew Trump didn't have $41 million. And he suspected that Trump was fronting for someone, in this case, a man by the name of Dmitry Rybolev, a Russian oligarch. And in fact, within 24 months, Rybolev bought the house from Trump for $95 million, kind of a red flag of money laundering. Epstein, furious with his friend, furious over the top, threatened to reveal that Trump was a money launderer. Trump, tit for tat, went to the Palm Beach police and said Epstein was running a whorehouse. There is no honor, no less virtue among thieves. Trump was merely protecting himself.
So we can do a whole separate show, and I've done Substack columns about this because, I specialize a little bit in Russian stuff.
Yeah.
There is no doubt that Trump's properties were, and maybe continue to be, a laundromat for Russian money. Not even a question. I mean, Eric Trump or Donald Trump Jr., I forgot which one, basically said that most of the money back in about a decade.
I think it was Eric.
Yeah. But so that's true. 100% true. And in terms of Trump ratting out Epstein, I wonder if he got immunity from Alex Acosta as part of that.
It's very possible.
And
it's very possible.
And that is a question I would hope that when Eric Acosta comes and testifies in front of Jim Comer's committee, what the Democrats think to ask him.
Yeah.
And I also would love to know, because if you remember, that immunity that immunity agreement it's called a non-prosecution agreement. That non-pros agreement said all of his co-conspirators, named and not named. The named ones were women who worked for him to procure.
Right.
The unnamed are the people we don't know. And I would dearly love to know who those unnamed are. And I would dearly love to know why, of all the people that Trump could have made Secretary of Labor in his first administration, he chose Alex Acosta. And all of that is true. And when you cut a deal with the feds, I've never cut a deal with the feds, but I have as you know, Michelle, my husband, is a federal trial lawyer. So he has represented many a person who has gone through the system with the U.S. Attorney's Office. All of that you expect to be kept, secret unless you have to testify.
Right.
Well, the reason that Trump would never have had to testify on the stand as somebody who ratted out Jeffrey Epstein is because Trump was presumably part of this non-prosecution agreement. In other words, if Jeffrey Epstein had been tried, Trump would have been called there's my dog, as a witness. That would have been a problem for him because he would have been questioned by defense counsel, which of course Jeffrey Epstein 1000% would have known about that. I mean, that's something to think about.
And this explains the end of their friendship. This explains a lot of things. And until I saw that thing from Michael Wolff, the actual story about the bidding of the house and the whole thing, I'm like, wait. And then you just said that. I mean, it makes total sense. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we just have to connect the dots. That's right. Everything's right in front of us. Everything's right in front of us.
It's all in front of us. Jeffrey Epstein could never have gone on trial because if Jeffrey Epstein had gone on trial and a real trial, and the prosecution would have called people, and the defense could have called people. Now, Jeffrey Epstein knows full well who ratted him out. And if Jeffrey Epstein knew full well who ratted him out, they would have called Trump. The defense would have called Trump to have Trump testify, to screw Trump. And that's why he could never, ever have gone on trial. That's why they had to give him a no prosecution agreement, because it's not just Trump. It would have been a bunch of really other very powerful people. Discovery, BJG is right. Discovery would have been crazy.
Yeah.
Discovery would have been crazy.
It's like you couldn't write this shit. You know what I mean? It's awful. And I don't mean to say that lightly, like I don't mean to make light of it, but you couldn't write this.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
But Michael Wolff is right that it does go back. I think the property was called, and I'm not kidding, if you speak French, you'll find this hilarious, La Maison de l'Amitié, which means the house of friendship. That's the house that they were bidding on.
Get out. Why do all these houses have names? It just
Because
seems
they're
so-
like, because it was built like some stupid French chateau, and
yeah.
they all build these houses like they think they're,
Some rich people nonsense. Yeah.
But yeah, it was literally called La Maison de l'Amitié, which I thought was hilarious. Nevertheless, he's right, that was flipped to a Russian, and for tens of millions more than Trump bought it for, which is a typical thing the Trump family does.
Yeah.
If you look at who was buying apartments in Trump Tower, I believe most of them are still Russian. You have Sunny Isles, Florida, with Trump, a lot of property on, all Russian. And he did rat out Jeffrey Epstein. And if that's true, if what Michael Wolff is saying is true, and I think Michael Wolff would know.
And he's gotten in trouble in the past for unnamed source kind of stuff. And so he's more careful now. And I don't think he would say something like that if it wasn't true, honestly.
I also think he's got Jeffrey Epstein on tape, which he hasn't. Interestingly, he has not released them because I think he thinks that if anybody's going to sue them, that's when he's going to break out the tapes.
Yeah.
So, all of that are just, this is all to say that this is gross, it's disgusting, and this is who the Republican House is protecting right now. And to everybody that says, what about Bill Clinton? What about Bill Clinton? Ask the Republicans why they're protecting Bill Clinton.
And this is why, this is how they pay Julie the big bucks and the Democratic strategists. I mean, seriously, that's good strategy.
Yeah.
And also it just happens to be true.
I mean, why are you protecting anybody?
Yeah.
Let the truth come out. And for, this, where the speaker screwed up and said, "Oh, Trump was a cooperator, or he was somehow, an informant on." By the way, I think he actually might have had a Freudian slip. I think he actually might have been, and that's the whole point. If he was a cooperator, if he was an informant on Epstein, it was because he was trying to go after Epstein after Epstein threatened to go after him for being a money launderer.
Exactly.
And that is exactly why Epstein could never have gone to trial, because he would have been called. He would have been named as an unindicted co-conspirator, and he would have been called, and he would have had to plead the fifth over and over and over and over again at a time when he was broke. And all he had was his image as a billionaire. He would have been asked at that trial what he was worth for real. He would have been all sorts of questions. Don't forget when this was happening. This was happening in the 90s.
Yeah.
When Donald Trump was really experiencing the depth, the nadir.
Yes. Desperate. Well, Julie, per usual, and to your point, we do like to keep these dispatches a little shorter, but I just think that today, the depths of this story, the spider web that is never ending, it deserved a little bit more of our time. And as always, it's illuminating to have discussions with you about this stuff. I learn a lot, and
And I learn a lot from you. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Michelle, you and I are going to be back here just in a few hours. We have a 7 p.m. tonight. And why don't you tell people what this is about?
So tonight at 7, we're going to have a retired Lieutenant Colonel JAG officer from the Marine Corps. She was in for 20 years. She retired last year. She also happens to be my sister-in-law. And she's going to talk to us about the legality of the strike, the military strike, on a civilian Venezuelan boat this past week. What this means, and also the legality of deploying troops into our cities, on our streets. So, there's a lot of loopholes and things here that she can, break down for us. But I think that she's, I don't want to give it away, but she's not happy about any of this stuff. So she's going to talk to us for a little bit and, talk to us and just, break it down. It's going to be good.
All right. I'm super excited, and I hope everybody here can join us. I know for people who are watching us in places like Europe, Kevin Cox, I'm talking to you and others. It's a little late, but We will. And yes, Rosie, we already have wished Tara a happy 50th. She is having a wonderful day
Yeah.
in Sicily right now. So
Yeah. She will not be getting a book of stuff for her 50th birthday.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, exactly. She's not, we did not come up with a book for her. If we did, it would probably involve wine and
yeah, I know.
Fun stuff. Nothing like Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, everybody. Thanks very much. And we'll see you soon. We'll see you in a few hours. Bye.
7 Eastern. Bye, everybody.